on CBC Dutch Touch with Terry Michler, the organizer of the 2012 trip. And Coach, we talk about all the information and all the entire experience for these young kids. How do they put themselves into the learning moment, and how do they understand kind of what they're about to experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think part of it is that they've already got an introduction to it from the camp in the summer. And all of them were picked to go on the trip through their performance in camp, and they were picked by the Dutch coaches, which meant that in their interactions in the week of camp, they impressed the coaches in the way that the Dutch coaches like to see a soccer player develop. So I think that's already in place now. But the problem with that is we're a long way from the summer. So as they leave us, they get back into their other mentality of play with their local teams. And no offenses to the local teams, but it's definitely a different version than what the Dutch people bring over. So what they have to do is kind of orient themselves back into the mentality of, hey, this might be a little different. But different doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good, okay? So they really have to be open-minded. And they need to, what I usually try to tell them is the week that they're in, the 10 days that they're in Holland, they need to just be open to everything, every experience, every situation that we're involved in. Whether it's a coaching moment, whether it's a spectating moment, whatever it is, there's something to learn from it, okay? And then when they come back home, then they can take that information and apply it as needed or as they see fit, okay? But one thing they really want to try to impress upon them is not to bring to Holland a lot of the ideas that they've got from St. Louis. I think it's a good idea to leave those ideas behind for the most part and be open to a new experience. And then upon return, then try to blend the best of both of them. And I think the value of the trip and the experience is that it gives these kids a broader perspective on the game. And since they're still young players in their development in the game, and remembering what they're going to do in the time in Holland and see how much of that they can continue to apply in their own individual practices and in their own individual performance. I think that's the key.
So here we are a few days away. Talk to us about the trip now. We're going to land on Wednesday. Talk to us about the trip and what's going to happen those first few days.
Well, we actually leave on Wednesday and land on Thursday. And Thursday, the first day is always a long day because we leave Chicago at 6:02 p.m., arrive in Amsterdam 8:20 a.m. So actually it's middle of the night for us. It's about 2 a.m. when we actually land. But it's 8 a.m. Amsterdam time. So we land and have a full day ahead of us. And unlike the previous trips, this first day when we get there, we've got a game that night already in Arnhem against one of the local teams in Arnhem. So the kids, I think that's probably good because I know the first day when they get there, they're anxious to do something. They're tired, but their adrenaline, their anxiety, their curiosity has got them going. So I think, having a game the first night will help to kind of settle all that down. Usually for me, about the third day over there is when it all hits you. It's like you just hit the wall on that third day because your adrenaline carries you along. But we get going right away. Like I said, it's the first day. We get there, we got a game. Then the Friday, we spend the day Friday in Germany, which is always a good experience. We go to the city of Gelsenkirchen, the home of Schalke 04, and we visit the Veltins Arena, which is a brand new state-of-the-art facility. We get a nice tour of the facility. We've got opportunity to watch the first team train while we're there. From there we go into Dusseldorf in Germany for just a little bit of a sightseeing shopping experience. And then in the evening we return back to the Holland side of the border and watch a professional game in the Eredivisie with Vitesse Arnhem against FC Heracles. So that's our first day. That's a full day. First full day Friday. That's a long, interesting day. And then Saturday we're in Amsterdam and we visit the Ajax facility. And Saturday is always a youth game day. So we'll be there for half a day and be able to watch probably a couple, 2 or 3 youth games.
Let's actually break that Saturday down into two sessions. The morning is going to be at Ajax, and for those who don't understand the worldwide brand that Ajax is, and then certainly let's talk about the afternoon actually touring the city of Amsterdam. So talk about the Ajax complex first of all.
Yeah. The Ajax complex is world renowned. People from literally everywhere in the world come to see it, to visit it, to observe it, to analyze it, to study it, and to take something back from the experience of being there. So, but Saturday, like I said, is youth games. So they've got their main youth game field, and they've got other accompanying fields that they play on. So there'll probably be 2 or 3 games going on simultaneously throughout the day. All age groups, starting with the under 7s, I guess. And it's maybe the feature game is usually an under 19 game, but that's usually in the later afternoon. So we'll probably catch a mid-range game, probably like under 12, under 13, under 14, maybe even an under 15 game. And the games they play are against comparable teams in the Eredivisie. So it could be a PSV team, it could be a Feyenoord, it could be a Heerenveen, but it'll be another team in the professional league. So the quality of the game will be good. And if it's a rivalry game, then it'll even be better. But and it's interesting because they draw a few people to watch those games too. So it's a nice little setup. The quality of the play is very, very high. We'll find out the age of the kids and let our kids know that, and just tell the kids to observe how they're playing, and if they can see if there's any difference in the way they're playing. The biggest difference is that I think they'll see these kids on the ball, very comfortable on the ball, not panicking, and thinking their way through problems and using skill to solve the problems.
And certainly we talk about this being more than just a soccer trip. It's a cultural experience. What better place to experience the culture of Holland than in the city of Amsterdam? Talk about what you do with the whole group in the afternoon. It sounds like a great opportunity to really see what the city's about.
I read somewhere where you can eat in 108 different languages in Amsterdam. That's how worldly it is. But yeah, we go back into downtown Amsterdam, and we get dropped off in the area of the train station, and there's a main street there that kind of attracts all the tourists. It's right on the water, and it's a nice little inlet area there, and a lot of shops to jump in and out of, a lot of places to eat. But it's constant people. I mean, I usually just pick a spot and sit for a short period of time and just watch people, come and go, constant stream of people. The architecture of the buildings is incredibly interesting and different. You can do so many different things while you're there that you won't be able to do when you're home because of the difference in the culture and the civilization and the variety of different people from all over the world. So yeah, it's a great experience. And then we also, part of our afternoon in downtown Amsterdam, we take a canal cruise, and that's an hour really well spent. The canals have a lot of history in terms of the early development of the city, in terms of the political structure in downtown Amsterdam area, and the canal guides, the guys that drive the boats, also give the tours. And it's very informative. And they stop at certain places to catch the right picture, and they tell everybody, take this shot. This is pretty good. There's one spot where they stop, and you can shoot down the canals, and you can shoot under like 5 or 6 overpass canals. It's really a neat little scene. But they point out the architecture of the buildings and the history and who lives there, and why it's important. And then it opens up into the North Sea. You go to the verge of the North Sea and then work your way back in. So it's a great experience. And then in the evening, we finish up, as we leave Amsterdam, we stop on the way out at a hotel on the outskirts of Amsterdam and have a nice evening meal and head back to our hotel.
Well, for this segment, we're going to stop us right there. And when we pick back up, we'll be actually hopefully in country in Amsterdam. We'll talk about the trip over and what the kids can look forward to during the middle of the second part of the trip. So, Coach Michler, we'll catch you next time.
All right. Thanks, Rob.